Okay, what have we got here? Well, this is a floor jack, and sitting on top of it is a non-floor jack, hydraulic jack. And what we have here is the ultimate makeshift table saw. And okay, anyway, the cut is made. My wife came out and helped me. And you can see the red line was the guide. I didn't want to go within that. And there's the part that came off. So it was a success. All I had to do was one cut, did it. The guide was nailed in place with a nail plus a couple of clamps. That's it. This was a 1/4-inch board, poplar or something like that. And I'll show you the bolts. I showed you the bolt heads already right there. One of them. The other one is partially visible here. It's underneath. All right, so now it's time for disassembly. We're unplugged. Okay, we are unplugged. So let's pull out the little nail. We're stabilizing our guide. And take off the clamps. Two just like that. And this guide's off. So now what we'll do is take off these bolts. The guide worked. We needed a table saw to make one single cut on one simple little project. And that is this. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over the whole makeshift thing. No big deal. And get the saw to be on top instead of hanging on the bottom. The Cub Scout Pinewood Derby block. You can see the red line. My son wants a Hershey candy bar card design. So I got to cut this down. Not quite in half the long way, but slightly taller than half the long way. So, how did we do this makeshift table saw? We started with a circular saw, which I have now fastened to this 1/4-inch board, which I acquired at Lowe's today. Okay, so what do you see? You see the saw now on top of the board because I've turned the board over. You can see that rubber band. It's actually holding the guard. It goes an inch or so. Put the rubber band on. And that was just an extra step. I supported the saw when it was upside down. I just put these jacks under it. Contact point was right here. No big deal. Like I said, I wasn't leaning down on it or anything. I just pushed the car through. And the way I did that was for safety. I actually put a clamp of a smaller size compared to my giant length ones, which you see here. I actually clamped the car in here and pushed it like that. Pushed it like that. My fingers were never near the blade. And trouble-free. You saw the end result already. Here's the piece that came off again. That's the scrap. And so as I said, now here's where I have a bolt coming through the bottom plate of the saw. Now I had to drill the hole to accommodate that bolt. That was not there. And here's another hole which I drilled as well. Another bolt which coming through a hole which I drilled as well. It's a 1/4 inch hole. I got a metric sized bolt at Lowe's. Matching nut and washer. No problem. So, and what's going on is I had to drill a couple, 3 holes through part of the saw in order to be able to fasten it with these bolts. And upon fastening it to what became the surface of the table saw, now I've set my guide in place, clamping it on one end and a bent nail on the other, because this is, again, as I said, one single cut. So I'm going to take that back one off now. And the way I'm going to do that is tilt up the saw with the adjuster right there. Now that's out of the way. You can see the saw's tilted up now. Up in the air. What's happening is I'm now drawing this bolt out through the bottom. There you go. You saw it pop away. And the saw is basically free on that side. And pop the saw right off now. Okay. The saw is free of the table foundation. And you can see the cut that I actually made with the circular saw right there. And the way I did that was I mounted the saw on this side. You can see where it went rough. Mounted the saw on this side, angled up as you see it now. Right, angled up, and then loosened up the adjuster, pushed it down. While it was rotating, it cut its way right in. Cut its way right in and made the necessary slot. And then I made a guideline. You can see that red line there. Used my T-square to make the big T-square I got to make the line. So anyway, it's getting dark. Obviously, it's winter time. So now this is basically disassembled. I got to just get this one loose. This is in there a little bit tight. So give me a second on. Work on getting the screw out of here. everything. So you can see the two holes. And as I showed you, this hole is the one I drilled in the saw and spin it around, and here's the hole on the other one. Light that up a little bit for you. You can see it lit up pretty good there. And that's how I fixed it. Hang it upside down once I turn the board over. It worked. Okay, thanks. And I'll continue the video when we take it apart. Real simple. I'm sure it's going to do the job. All right.